imagine in this case we have breaker, FVG, and order block. Okay, you're like, well, which one do I use, right? Where is price going to react from? And it's a valid question, like it's a fair question. You're looking at this, you're wondering, am I going to get this? Am I going to get this? Or am I going to get this? You know what I mean? This is obviously a very simplified example. Obviously, price action doesn't always occur this cleanly. It's just for the purposes of the illustration, right? Gotta pull your fib levels. That's going to shed a lot of light on where you should be going, right? So this is my Fibonacci retracement tool. You see here we have some levels marked out. We have the 0.5, which basically separates this price leg into premium and discount, okay? So unless it's a very, very bullish move, usually you want to be retracing at least to the discount, right? Because that's where you're going to find the better or trades. That's where buyers, in theory, should be more willing to engage, right? This is usually like, this is a local high, this is a local top, right? This is where guys are going to be TPing, you know, looking for a little bit of a move down here, a retrace, right? Typically, we don't want to be longing in the premium unless it's a very bullish move. These are just guidelines rather than hard rules, right? And the 3 levels that I'm most interested in, I'm actually going to add one more level there. 4 levels, right? The 6.2 fib, the 6.5 fib, the 7.1 fib, and the 7.9 fib, right? All of them together are known as OTE, optimal trade entry. I believe that's an ICT concept. And out of those, the golden pocket, which I'm sure you've all heard of, is the 6.2 to the 6.5 fib, a level which a lot of the time price will hit it in reverse. Broader rule, everything from the 6.2 to the 7.9, right, is considered OTE. I think the actual OTE fibs are 6.2 and 7.9, and then 7.1 is just the midpoint. So in that case, let's apply that to our POIs now, right? So immediately I'm thinking this breaker, half of the breaker occurs in the premium, right? It's above the 0.5, and the other half isn't really near the OT. It's not at the level that I want. So I would not consider this breaker high probability unless I was really confident that a bullish reversal is in, right? Maybe there's some news. Maybe this high time frame POI is actually, there was a really strong reaction. Then maybe I want to take this, but otherwise it's probably going to be a no, right? So then I'm looking at the next one, FVG. The FVG has real nice overlap with the golden pocket, really nice overlap with the OTE fibs, okay? So that's probably the highest probability. The order block, right, the last one, actually occurs below the 7.9 fib. And this is just from my personal experience. I usually don't trade continuation setups like these if price retraces past the 0.8, 0.85 fib. Because at that point, my read is that the liquidity target is the low. So what do I mean by that? Let's put the 0.85 on just to illustrate. 0.85, we'll color that in a bit orange, okay? I would make the argument that if price retraces this deep, right? Price goes down, let's say past the 0.5 fib. This isn't an exact science. At that point, it's not looking to reverse. It's actually looking to take the low. At that point, I'm just gonna wait for that low to get taken, and then maybe I'll look to enter a trade lower, right? That'd be kind of like a sweep the sweep setup. You guys know I love my sweep the sweep setup. If you check out that video, that's the sweep to sweep setup. So if we go lower than like the 8.5 fib, the 0.9 fib, at that point, I'm just not really interested because I think that we're going to sweep. I'll be looking for lower prices at that point. Does that make sense to everyone? The question was, how do you know which POI to focus on when there are multiple valid ones? The answer is let OTE fibs guide your hand. And I think that has helped me a ton when it comes to trying to figure out which POI I should be prioritizing. And again, these aren't hard rules. These aren't hard rules, these are just guidelines. What happens when the breaker and FVG line up together? That's when you get the unicorn setup. So that's a good point, actually. What if there's an FVG here and the breaker occurs inside it, right? At that point, we have our friend, the unicorn. The unicorn setup. When a breaker occurs inside an FVG, it is higher probability than any of the other trio POIs in isolation. Even if a unicorn breaker happens outside your discount zone, it's definitely, you should give some weight to that. You're almost at the point where you'd be prioritizing that over a deeper retrace. Obviously, the highest probability, and you don't often get it, is when the breaker and the FVG occur in unison at the OTE, right? That's a true unicorn setup. Hope that answers your question.